Hi, welcome back to Not So Obvious Watches. I'm Pete McConville. I'm going to start a series of quick looks at what's going on at Baselworld. First thing I'd say is if you've seen my previous prediction video of Baselworld, I apologise. I clearly have no idea what I'm talking about, and I'm a terrible predictor. Almost nothing I predicted came true, except one, and I'll lead off with that. Today we're going to talk about Rolex and Tudor. And first, Rolex, I predicted that not much would happen, and I think I was right. At the margins, we saw some very expensive watches get some precious metal treatment, which is fairly standard for Rolex. We had some dial color changes, some bezel color changes, and we got an oyster bracelet swapped with a Jubilee bracelet. So, yeah, that's it for Rolex. Moving on to Tudor, three big bits of news out of Tudor. I'm going to start with the piece of news I liked the least and move to the piece of news I liked the most. The least was the two-tone chronograph. I'm not a big two-tone fan. Combine that with the black and it's just a little bit too cheesy 70s nightclub, and I just can't do it. Maybe you can. It's being a Tudor, it's going to be very well executed. It's and fundamentally the Tudor chrono is quite a good looking watch. I can't do the two-tone. It's not my style, but knowing Tudor, they will have executed this well. So if it's your style of watch, it will probably be a watch that you would like. Something I like a little bit more, still a very simple and straightforward and kind of obvious watch, but again, it's a very good looking one, would be the new Black Bay bronze with the black dial and bezel. This is a gorgeous watch. The Black Bay is a little bit boring, but it is very handsome. Put it in bronze and it stops being boring and it gets even more good looking. The black is a really interesting contrast to the brown they did earlier. I think it actually looks better. I think as it ages and you might get some greeniness coming through, it's going to look even better again. I think this watch is going to be quite hard to get, but if the previous bronze ones are any indication, hold off, don't panic. In about a year, the prices will start coming down and it'll be quite reasonable. The watch I like the most is probably the watch that most people are giving a bunch of hate, which is the new Black Bay P01. This is not a pretty watch. This is not a good looking watch. They probably won't sell a lot of this watch, and those are all reasons why I absolutely love this watch. I had written Tudor off as yet another straight down the line, handsome but fundamentally uninspired and uninspiring kind of consumer products brand. I thought that they were going to follow the Rolex path of endlessly producing relatively unadventurous and unchallenging watches, and I had kind of lost interest. The P01, on the other hand, has brought me back in, and this is perhaps an interesting thing. Maybe I'm not welcome in the Tudor fanboy club by previous Tudor fanboys. I think I did a piece earlier where a vlog earlier where I said that a lot of people are relating to brands more and more as fans rather than critical consumers and watch lovers, and I'm really seeing that idea come through with a lot of the responses to Tudor, where people are really angry that their expectations have been upset by what they see as their brand or their team, to be even worse. That's a shame. Like I said, this watch is not great. This watch is not designed for everyone. In fact, I suspect if you loved the previous Black Bays, this is almost a watch designed to upset you. This is a watch designed for anyone other than you. This is a watch designed for all those people who looked at Black Bays and said, nothing for me here. Suddenly there is a reason for those people to consider buying a Tudor. Kudos, Tudor. I didn't think you had it in you. I didn't think you could break out of the mold that you were in. So congratulations. Some people aren't going to like what you've done, but you know, you've given them an awful lot of love so far. I think it's good that Tudor is showing a bit of love to people who want something a bit different. who want something a little bit off Broadway. The good news is also, I think that the fuss about this watch is all going to die down in a little while, and people will probably stop complaining about it. I think the other good news is I don't think it'll ever be super popular, but from what I understand, this is not going to be a limited edition. It's just going to be a standard run. So I'm almost certainly going to pick one up in a little while. So anyway, that's it for me. Rolex, nothing to see. Tudor, something amazing and interesting and different, but most people hate, but I love. That's my take so far. For more content like this, I'm going to run through some of the other brands later. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.